Oh,
No.
All
Major
right,
third.
gentlemen, we're live. Episode 3.
Oh my gosh. And we all know the third one is always the best. Rocky 3, Apollo Creed, that one, that was a good one. I'm just kidding.
Alien.
Hi, everybody.
Return of the Jedi.
Hi.
Return of the Jedi. What was the third of those? No, episode 3 was
Actually,
technically like
Empire Jedi, though.
well, that's
Right?
yeah, that's true.
Empire was the Return of the Jedi.
But I don't want to
And
correct
Phantom-
you.
And Phantom Menace was better than Empire, so.
No.
In what alternate universe is this? Episode 3 was technically Revenge of the Sith. I don't want to get into it and waste everybody's time.
So what's everybody been up to the last week?
The things I've done, Darren. Oh, the places I've been, the things I've seen. I've been sitting in this chair for 7 days.
Well, that's a good place to be, right? So Shane, how about you, buddy?
I've been pretty much in here since I last spoke with you,
Yeah.
writing and playing and doing all kinds of stuff.
To be fair, that is Shane's sex dungeon, so it makes sense. That you need.
Absolutely. And Corey, anything new and exciting to share?
Yeah, man. I put my garden in nice compost and some soil and put it all together, and I got some nice basil. Actually, I started growing potatoes, but I didn't realize that you have to dry the potatoes and let the eyes grow on them, and so they all cut it in there. So I had to dig them all out and start again, but I haven't started yet because I'm just going to give up. It's too hot here anyway. In LA, it's I'm just going to do hot things. I'm going to actually grow ginger, which is going to be really cool.
Ginger?
Other than that, ginger.
Cool. You're cutting out. Is Corey cutting out for everybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Through
whole
the
other
internet.
podcast, by the way. People love to talk
Okay.
about gardening. Right now, Corey's frozen.
Oh,
Let's just
hang
all
on.
stare at Corey for a second.
Or you're completely cut out.
And Brent Fitz has been up to what?
You have me now?
There's Corey. Yeah, there you are.
You
This is
see?
better, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Little-
sir.
But I'm cooking. I haven't
Cooking,
left my
yeah.
house. Yeah,
I heard you're like into cooking all of a sudden.
I know.
I'm really into eating, so that works out well. So
I can,
especially lately, I've been into eating.
I can Grubhub or Uber Eats or something
Yeah.
over my my latest recipes. No,
There
I'm
you
actually. You know what's funny is our friend Gilles Epier, the
Yes.
master chef.
Yes.
So he makes it easy for me. I go on his
Oh.
Instagram and I watch his.
I've been watching that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I go, get excited for his cooking, and then I go to the store that day, and I go, I'm going to make that, dish he just made. So I've never been able to cook. Why? Because we all know, as touring musicians, we usually eat in hotels and, or
Yeah.
find a way to be not having to cook, but enjoying being at home a little bit more. Maybe that's a bad thing.
Gilles is our friend. He's a chef from Paris, France for a long time. Had his own restaurant over there. Where is he now? Florida, like Miami or something?
I think he's actually in LA.
Is he in LA now? Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah.
So
Well, when we're all out of this, we're gonna go get some food made by Gilles.
Yeah.
it's
That'd be
funny because
wonderful.
I'm just doing what everybody else is doing. I'm spending a lot of time on Instagram, not paying attention to myself, but paying attention to other people. So I'm learning how to be a better drummer because I watch Shane's videos every day.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. He's actually inspired me to play drums.
Did you get sucked into that late night infomercial where you had to buy like the 10 DVD set as well? Because I had that.
Yeah. So Shane Gallus, you could be a drummer in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
It's amazing what you buy at 2 a.m.
It really is. Yeah.
Play
Him and
Wipeout after one session.
Exactly.
My
I got
Amazon is blowing up.
I got my
Totally blowing up.
I got my Shane Gallus drum kit right next to my Estefan guitar. It's gonna be great.
Exactly.
Right?
And the Zamfir pan flute. It's gonna be awesome.
And speaking of ordering online, Fitzy and I were just talking off air a couple of minutes ago. I understand that CD sales are on the up and up, and just got our 3rd shipment overseas of the new Toque record, and back order of
That's-
the first
Yeah.
Toque record. So
Nice.
Good times.
Wow.
But they're using
Those
them
are-
as coffee coasters.
Yeah.
Hey, as long as the check clears.
Those
As
are
long as
nice
the check
in a
clears, they
furniture
can use
store.
it for whatever they want.
I think it's nice that people still buy actual physical CDs, and especially in Europe, like Todd and I, because we've toured together, so much in the last 10 years together that we always like to go to record shops and CDs, but we find a lot of cool. Remember, Todd, we found Harlequin CDs and
Prism.
everything released in Europe, and they're actually released on some of the same labels that like the Toque records on, which is it's AOR Heaven, and they actually release a lot of great, Canadian music. But people buy CDs over there. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah.
I saw in the news.
CDs are compact discs for anybody who's paying attention. Just want to pass that around.
I saw some news thing though that Amoeba's not going to open once this is done on Sunset. They're going to close that location.
Where is it moving to? Is it staying in Hollywood or where's it going?
But that famous location is never going to, like, they were going to have a big closing ceremony, I think, but now it's because of COVID.
That place was awesome. Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll, reopen somewhere else because I've spent a lot of money in that place.
I know, right?
So speaking of CDs, classic rock, and all the such, we have a special guest on standby here. I guess it'd be a perfect opportunity. Who wants to do the introduction?
Oh,
Go for it, Todd.
I'm doing the snare drum roll.
This person is a living legend. We stole her talent to create a version of our own for the last CD of one of the greatest vocal performances of all time, ruined by myself, but then again saved again by her.
Yep.
She came in and helped me save it. So she came in and sang with us, and she's from one of our favorite bands of all time, and she's an amazing Canadian gal. Make some noise for Miss Darby Mills.
Woo, Darby!
An actual
Hey,
applause,
guys.
an online applause. There she is. In Vernon, BC, yes?
That's right. Yeah.
Vernon,
How are you guys doing?
Awesome.
Great.
Thanks
How
for
are-
joining us.
Good.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for having
This is
me.
going to be so much fun.
Yes.
I got so many questions.
Go. Start with
Well, first of all, how's it going there? Like,
$50,000. Just kidding. Go ahead.
how's the weather in Vernon? My first.
We're finally getting spring. Cut the lawn today for the first time, and trying to get a garden started too, Corey. Yeah, for sure.
Wow,
You
okay, good.
Walk on
I'll share
that.
photos.
Yeah.
Photos.
Yeah.
Mine's only like 8 feet by 3.5 feet, so it's very small raised bed. I just mainly grow green stuff that I can put in a blender or a salad.
Yeah. Or I found herbs, because you spend 6-7 months watering and weeding and taking care, and then
Yeah.
you get 2 carrots and a tomato. It's like, I'm glad I spent all of that money,
I know,
and not,
right?
yeah.
You think you're going to save money, and then you don't get anything in the end. My tomatoes. So my tomatoes in LA, there's a rat problem in all.
Oh yeah.
The whole city's infested with rats. You can't do anything about it. You just have to learn to live with them. But every time that tomato on the vine turns just any shade of pink, it's gone.
Yeah,
It's gone.
exactly. Yeah, strawberries,
And
same thing.
So this year I'm fighting back, not with traps. I'm actually building a big cage around my tomatoes that I can put on I can tip it over and get the tomatoes, but it keeps the rats out. I think that's going to work this year.
Right.
Cool. Now, when you say rats, so do you mean like in the mafia movie style, like the guy that tells the cops important information, or you mean actual rats?
No, I'm talking about round and round.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Stephen Piercy's crawling around your garden. Get out of here.
Have you guys seen that
Geico
commercial?
I was going to ask you that. Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah,
There's
amazing.
a Geico commercial where this lady's calling the exterminator. She goes, "I have a problem with rat," and then they show rat up in the in her attic playing round and round, just nonstop.
Is it like present day rat, or is it like?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Wow. So awesome. Good for them. That's probably a good chunk of change. Those Geico pockets are deep pockets.
Yeah, Europe had one spot on there too a while ago.
That's right.
right.
They
Oh, really?
did. Yeah. That's
Now,
awesome.
Darby, you've lived in LA before, right? I read your bio yesterday on your website, and it's like, holy, this is awesome.
Yeah,
So
that,
much to talk about.
yeah.
I wish I had. I spent some time down there with the A&R man for, geez, what was it? So many labels.
Right.
Warner, no. Can't remember. Anyway, the label that I was signed to after the Headpins and I parted ways back in '85, I retained the Headpin record contract with, it wasn't Warner. I'm sorry, I'm so bad. But
Right.
yeah, so, they were
Like a
at
big
Universal.
label.
Yeah, it was a big label. They were at Universal Studios. My brain's only on
I
half
wouldn't even
time
know.
these days.
Yeah.
Tom Trombo was the name of the A&R man, and I went and lived with him and his
Yeah.
wife for a couple months down there to do some writing, and finished a couple songs, and then they sent me over to London, England, to
Right.
record at Eel Pie recording studio.
Yeah.
Mr. Townsend's.
I was just
Nice.
I was just over by there not that long ago. I was in London, in Twickenham, and we were hanging out right by Eel Pie. So when I read that in
Yes.
your bio, I go, that's crazy that you were there. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I spent, there was another studio too. Once again, I should have studied up. I should have read my bio. Ridge Farm Studio, which was incredible because it was an old barn that was so old it was actually made, the lumber came from a ship. So the beams were all twisted and crooked, and I recorded in there with oh man, I should be drinking more this morning. Yeah.
Is that with Tina Turner's people or something like that you recorded some stuff with?
Yeah, for sure. It was Tony Levin played bass on that.
That's awesome.
It was a wonderful adventure, and then spending time on the Thames and getting to meet Peter, and
Wow, that's cool.
yeah, another dream that almost came true, but it's all good. It was a great experience. Yeah.
You know what I want to ask you, which I think is really interesting, is in reading in your bio, even back then, you went to Calgary because there were so many like bands and gigs and stuff. Was that like always been that way? Because when we kind of started doing this, we all sort of floated around Alberta and that whole prairie. Like every town had a club to play, and there were a million players in and around the prairies in general. So I thought it was really interesting to see you actually went to Calgary rather than going to Vancouver, which seems like the obvious move from Vernon would be Vancouver, but you went to Calgary.
Well, there were so many.
Delay.
Yeah, sorry. There were so many clubs, not just so many cities, so many clubs in each city. Back in the early 80s when I first joined the Headpins, and prior with a band called Steelback, you could literally tour Vancouver for, 6 weeks, playing 6 days a week and not leave town.
Yeah,
you just stayed in the circuit, and then when you did that 2 or 3 times, at least for the Pins anyway, then they'd ship you off to Alberta.
Yeah.
But prior to that, the club scene was, bands today have no idea how fabulous that era was and how much work there was.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
how we all cut our teeth, is we all played the same 6 nights a week, and sometimes twice on Saturday, if there was a jam session or and it was an amazing venue for us to learn to play music and to share music with others. And now, there are other advantages with YouTube and all that kind of stuff, but you can't get that camaraderie and that chemistry going with people through YouTube. It's a little more difficult. And I think that it really helped shape who we are as musicians, was having to play every single night for 4 hours sometimes.
I always equate that in musician's brain. I always think of the Beatles going to Hamburg and playing like 6 sets a night or whatever the hell it was, just playing.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
Playing. And they came home a completely different band, because I think being comfortable on stage, being comfortable talking to an audience, being comfortable, just the whole, once you get rid of what stage fright or whatever sort of uncomfortableness you have, then all of a sudden it's a whole other animal. And playing to like 5 guys at one table who don't want to hear you play in Stettler, Alberta. It's kind of you have to kind of have to build that up. So when the full Saturday night happens, then you're a whole other animal. And it's really cool to see that you came up in a very similar scene, and that Alberta and that prairie scene kind of lived for a long time.
Probably mid 90s, I think. I mean, I didn't move to Vancouver until the 1980 or 79, actually. Graduated in 78, 79, moved to Vancouver, moved to Calgary, moved to the island, moved to Calgary, moved back to Vancouver. That was all like in a year. Joined a band called Steelback from the island. I was with them for a year, and boom. Signed up with the Headpins, and it's hard to believe that time period with the Headpins, we used to, I think of it as a lifetime, but with Brian McLeod and myself in the band, it was 4.5 years. That's it. That's all we got.
Yeah.
Well, it's fascinating because everybody here, I think, saw you do the Headpins with not Ab and not Brian. Like the first time I ever saw the Headpins,
that's right,
it was other guys. So,
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
In fact, I think you were opening for Chilliwack, or was it?
I saw them opening
Toronto.
for Toronto.
Toronto.
Okay, yeah, and there was no Brian McLeod in the band at the time because I think he was touring with Chilliwack. Is that what happened?
Would have been Opus
They were
X.
in the studio. They were recording with Chilliwack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how you got hooked up with the Headpins, because you were playing a Steelback gig and he was there or something, or?
Well, once again, we played so much. Who knows where they might have come across my path or whatever. I remember going to see them, and they were so loud in a club called Vancouver's Tonight or Spunky's El Morocco. It was one of the other names, and they were playing downstairs. It was so loud that I left going, wow. Never go anywhere.
Yeah, right.
But they all came out one night, introduced themselves to me, and basically 3 weeks later, I was back in Vancouver. I'd been out on the road with Steelback. Yeah.
So they being Ab Bryant and Brian McLeod and Bernie, or just Brian?
And Bernie, yeah, because we didn't really have a solid keyboard player back then, even though in that era, Darcy McDonald was our keyboard player and did the European tour with us with Whitesnake, and he did a good 2, maybe not, I don't know, can't even remember, maybe if not all the years with us. Darcy McDonald was a great part of the band as well back then, yeah.
You should lay that on us. So you toured with Whitesnake, Kiss, Aerosmith, ZZ Top. Like you toured with all those bands back then, right?
Yeah, we did a lot of the standards. We didn't do a lot over in Europe, although it was the complete Whitesnake tour. Black and Blue joined us for one show at the Hammersmith Odeon. But dropping that name to me, that was huge. I don't even think it exists anymore. I think they've shut it down now. But and watching Coverdale, and John Lord was in the band, Cozy Powell was in the band, John Sykes, Neil Murray, Sir Neil, he'd been knighted already. Yeah, so. That was probably, the highlight of my career, pretty much, was doing
Darby,
that too.
Remember when we had the pleasure a couple years ago playing together in Grand Forks, BC?
Yeah. And
I was playing with Gene Simmons, and it's funny because playing with Gene, he always, when we talk Canadian bands, he always brings you up and mentions the Headpins because you guys toured together. But we actually got to do that. Well, you came up and sang with us, an honor. But it's just great because Gene, it's always nice to if you think at the time you were just an opening band, opening for Kiss, but you obviously left an impression on a lot of those bands too, right?
With Gene, I did, and I remember having the pleasure of working you guys at the tailgate party for the Grey Cup last year. I remember telling you the story in the dressing room, and if you don't mind, I'll tell it again because I love rubbing it, rubbing Gene. Yeah, we were 4 or 5 shows into probably 9 shows, I think, in Canada with Gene, and Ace wasn't in the band at the time. It was the first run for, I'm so sorry.
Vinnie Vincent or something.
Vinnie. It was.
They still had makeup. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to see Kiss without makeup. I just remember thinking of my high school buddies all going, "Oh my God, you got to see Kiss." But so 4, 5, 6 shows in, the lights went out. We got called. We were walking up on stage, and out of the dark, this voice from way up here says, "Hey," and I'm like. I look up and it's Gene, and I'm like, "Oh shit! Hey, how you doing, Gene?" And he says, "So, what are you into?" I wasn't quite sure what he meant, but so the first thing that came to my mind was, "What band am I into?" And the first band that popped in my head was Marshall Tucker.
Oh wow!
I threw him. I swear I threw him. The look on his face, he's just like, "What the hell?" And he just turned and walked away, right? And I'm like, shit. Anyway, so.
That's so
and then,
funny.
A few years later, I figured that I must have left an impression on him because a Canadian band called Helix was on tour with them over in Europe. And he pulled one of the boys aside and said, "Who's that chick singer? You know, loud, the loud one." So I was like, "Yeah, I left an impression."
That's so cool.
You know, Darby, and the first time, so we were talking about seeing you live, years ago. But I didn't get to see you in concert, but I remember. And maybe everyone will remember this too, but when roller skating was actually a thing and music videos were being played, they used to play the videos at the roller rink. And I'll never forget, we used to hang out and play pinball, and we were, there wasn't much roller skating. It was more about hanging out as teenagers. But I remember seeing you on the screens because they would play the "Don't It Make You Feel Like Dancing," actual music video back then. That's the first place I actually saw you, and it was kind of cool because remember, videos were new back then, and so that must have been actually a big deal to make a video back then, because you were part of when it mattered, like the early times when there was videos being played on TV and stuff.
Totally
right. The beginning of MTV, and then Much Music, and actually that album, we didn't even have a CD for that album. We were that old. CDs were only for the elite few, like Zeppelin.
I had the vinyl, absolutely. I probably still have vinyl out there. Yeah. It's but that funny, and that video does not have Ab or Brian again, does it?
No.
Yeah, there you go. So that's that early. It's such an interesting story because for people who don't know, to give some backstory, Ab and Brian were in a huge band called Chilliwack, and I guess was it Brian's baby to make this kind of like AC/DC rock and roll sounding record. He played drums. Brian played drums and guitar on the record, if I'm not mistaken. The first one, didn't he?
No, on all of them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
And keyboards.
Ab played bass?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So then he just by the grace of God found Darby Mills, and having you come in and sing that stuff. I can't imagine if it had been any other voice, because your voice was so like, it's like Brian Johnson from AC/DC, you know what I mean? Like there's like this real edge to it, but there's some real soul, and you can in reading your bio, I see all these R&B references to different things that you'd played in. So you have all these R&B chops that kind of pop out now and again in a rock and roll way that make it really special. So kudos to you, sister.
Cool. Yeah.
So how was it that Brian was in Chilliwack and then thought that he had enough time to do another side project at exactly the same time? Like, what was it always something he had in the back burner, or was Chilliwack just an accident, or like what happened?
No, Headpins was an accident. What had happened back in 79, Chilliwack was signed to Mushroom Records.
Yeah.
This is my knowledge. Of course, I don't know everything inside. I was like 3 when this happened. No, just kidding. So, Shelley Siegel, the president of Mushroom Records, was found deceased, and everything came to an abrupt halt, kind of like COVID-19. It was like, Urch!
Wow.
Wow.
And so instead of losing his chops, Brian put together the Headpins, which Matt Burnett from Loverboy was the first drummer to play in the clubs with him.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Ab, and then the first singer in the band was Denise McCann, who years later went on to marry Randy Bachman.
Oh,
no way.
wow. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but they were almost a year in when I was asked to join in. So I did, left Steelback, joined the Headpins, and then Chilliwack went into the studio as we were playing at the clubs at night, and Brian sent off my voice to Solid Gold Records in Toronto, and they said, let's sign it. So unfortunately, or fortunately, whose ever team you're on, because Brian and Ab were already signed to Chilliwack, they couldn't also be signed to the Headpins. So I was the lone signed artist for Turn It Loud. Yeah.
Wow.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
And
really interesting.
Yeah, the Lock Up Your Sons tour ended up doing so well, and we did so well. We came to Vancouver, and Brian and Ab said, no, we're playing tonight. And then they played the Island Show, and came back home and quit Chilliwack and came back to the Headpins full time. So
Crazy.
yeah,
Because I saw you guys. I saw you guys again on the second album tour with Helix opening.
right.
And then it was like a hockey arena, and a big H came down from the ceiling, the lights and the whole thing, and it was like, whoa, these guys are next level. And that was Brian and Ab, obviously. So yeah,
Yes.
it was
Yeah.
the first time I had ever seen Helix too, and I remember going, who are these guys? Because they were on fire back then too.
Right, exactly. There's a story about that H. Our crew guys, I believe our crew guys went and built that H. They took all the measurements. We had a black scrim this long that covered all the lights. And so it would lower, I mean, this was high tack back in those days.
Oh yeah.
Park hands hidden by a scrim that they would lower down at the beginning, and a chaser system would go around for the opening song, which was Breaking Down. And one night it got stuck, of course. That has to happen. It wouldn't raise up. Yeah. But they built it so big out of that 30 show, I believe it was 30 shows for that tour. They built the H so big we could only use it in 3 arenas.
Sure.
So the fact it's just like,
well, I got to see one of the 3 shows. Then there you go.
Exactly.
Saskatoon.
Yeah.
That's in Saskatoon at the old arena. That's not there anymore. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Who's got the H now?
You know what? I don't know, and I've asked numerous times on social media if anybody has any pictures of it, because I have one picture of the
really?
H. That's it. Yeah. So they're rare. Yeah.
So
Reach out to the Canadian pickers.
See it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It'll show up on Antiques Roadshow sometime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Production.
People asking questions, Darren?
Yeah, I was just, the stories are great, and of course, we're getting hellos from all over the world.
How do you like that?
And, which is amazing, nice to see. And a lot of people are touching on, I guess, the same thing. There's a lot of younger kids that are not only into Toque, but are now, listening to the older catalog. And of course, they're all looking for somebody to share some great stories from back in the what we all call the glory days of music and rock. So I know it's a long career and there's probably a ton of them, but are there any of your moments that stand out that you'd like to share?
Probably all of them.
Yeah, there's a ton of them, and probably 99% I can't share. So,
those are the best.
Did those
guys.
have anything to do with Gene Simmons?
Nope.
Gene
No stories. Yeah, no stories of Gene. Europe.
So did you? Where were, like, if you left Canada, Darby? Where were the other places that you got to play, because it's always, we all know as Canadians, we've toured so many times from Vancouver Island out to I actually have a bootleg of you guys at the Misty Moon out on the East Coast.
Wow.
That was such a great club. Well, there were two, right? Because there was a tiny Misty Moon, and then they moved to the bigger venue, which was an awesome venue. But as far as we went down to the States. As a matter of fact, that's how we ended up with Whitesnake over in Europe. We were on tour. We were supposed to do a whole tour of the United States with Saga and Quiet Riot.
Oh, wow.
And yeah. So we were really looking forward to it. We'd got all the way over to somewhere around New York. We got on a tour bus, drove down to the Bible Belt. I can't remember exactly where we started, but we got to the third show, possibly the fourth. And it's 5 minutes to stage call. We were the opening act, and a knock on the door, and we're like, yeah, okay, it's time to go. And our road manager comes in, and Joe Jackson was his name, not the Joe Jackson, but slams the door. He says, everybody pick up your stuff, put your bags away, grab whatever food you want, and let's go. It's like, what?
Oh, wow.
Just grab your stuff, get on the bus, let's go. So it's like, what the heck? What? So we're on the bus, door opens. It was a big enough venue that all the tour buses were parked inside. So it was going to be a fabulous tour. We were so pumped. It got on the bus, we pulled out, and he's like, okay, so what happened is the boys in Quiet Riot had a fight, and the band broke up. The tour's off.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like what? Like,
damn.
This was it. We were gonna break through in the States because Turn It Loud didn't quite do it. So this was the second album, I do believe. So this was going to be our shot, and so instead we hung out in Florida for a while. Jump had just come out from Van Halen, and I remember sitting in the bar looking at the video, going, "Wow, this is awesome!"
Yeah.
So then we lucked out and picked up a handful of shows on the West Coast through California, San Diego, and up to San Francisco and Portland with Eddie Money, which was fabulous as well. And that's when we found out we had picked up the Whitesnake tour over in Europe. So bang, we were over in Europe. I was 23, 24
That's
at the time.
Awesome.
It was, right? I really wish I could have done it later on in life when I had enough sense to slow down and look at what we were doing. But at the time, it was just, woo, party, and go. So that's one.
Were you a crazy partier, or what was it like back then?
Not till about 10 years ago.
Is that where it ended or where it started?
Yeah. You know what? I was a little bit too scared to party back then. I had a job to deliver, and it was expected of me. And I would do the show, and if there wasn't a merch table, which there weren't back then, but you would greet or do whatever you did, and I was in bed. I had to,
Yeah, right.
I don't have the skill of this guy right here who can sing and sing and sing and sing and sing and not have it. If I don't know how you do it, you blow me away. Seriously.
I honestly, like, we haven't done a long enough tour that I have to live like a monk. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we usually do like these one-off kind of things. But I know on an extended run, that's when, as a vocalist, it's suddenly like, oh, I can't talk tonight, or that whole thing. And it's somewhat true, because I was just telling this story not that long ago, how I just wanted to be in a band. I would have played bass, guitar, whatever. I was just happy. And as soon as then all of a sudden you became the singer, and you're kind of okay, and then you realized how much the taking care of yourself, and you can't, smoking, drinking, staying up all night, all that stuff became kind of like, no, not really. And I actually kind of admire you for that, because it's got to have been so hard to be 23 or whatever and going like, put my pajamas on, got to go to bed. It's like, that's not how we're wired.
But at the same time, we touched on this a little bit last week too, and I'm sure you can agree that even back in the day when you're doing show after show after show, it was a little easier too, because you didn't have a crowd full of people with a phone in your face when you get to watch back and see all of those things the next day, right? So
Yeah, but the other side of that, though.
You know what?
But
You know
the
what we
other
did
side
have?
of that, though,
We had people
is you don't have
smoking in
pictures
your
of.
face.
Yeah, I guess
That's true too.
yeah.
Yeah. But without the
That's
cameras
true,
in your
yeah.
face, there's no pictures of the H. See, that would have been
That's
helpful.
right.
See?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
But it,
is the fact that we've been wanting to do a Headpin song from day one, putting two together, and until it got added to the regular set, I think the thing I enjoy the most is watching the crowd, and if they know the song, and when we kick into it, everyone in the audience goes, "Wait a minute, Todd's not going to try to sing that song. Not that song. How's he going to pull that
That's
off?"
a perfect
Within the
freeze frame
first-
for Fitzy right there too. Your picture's locked up with your coffee mug right in your face.
Oh, I see that. That's hilarious.
So you know what I mean? Like that's the definitive song to just for people to go, "Oh my God, Todd's actually going to sing a song from Darby."
And then when he breaks into it, the big smiles that comes on everybody's faces out in the
Yeah.
audience. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, half the people can't wait to
Fantastic.
hear it, and half the people are waiting for him to
Fall flat on his
Yeah.
face. Exactly. Yeah.
pull out the vice grips. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of six to one, half dozen of another. No matter, it depends on the night. You know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
such a, like we say, it's just such a pleasure to. I mean, I can distinctly remember seeing you guys in Saskatoon in some sort of fairground kind of outdoor gig opening for Toronto, and I had not heard Headpins yet, and I distinctly remember walking out of there and saying I'd never heard "Don't It Make You Feel Like Dancing" or Turn It Loud, the songs.
Yeah.
I'd never heard any of the music. But I remember walking out of there going, man, those two songs were killer. And it says a lot about the fact that I think because there's like, dancing, and then the guys are going, "Don't it make you feel?" It was such a cool juxtaposition, the song itself, that I really walked away from that gig and just thought those songs were amazing, and then bought the record the next day, as you can imagine. And I think that says a lot. It very rarely happens when I watch a band for the first time and can walk out going, that Turn It Loud song was great, and that Don't It Make You Feel Like Dancing song was great. Know the titles, know how the choruses go already. So that's testament to your performance ability too.
Awesome. Well, and I don't know if you care to know, but how McLeod recorded, or Brian.
Yes, please.
Recorded the "Don't It Make You Feel Like Dancing." He whispered it and doubled it 100 times.
Oh.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so just very quietly.
You could have told me that when we went to record it.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, he was a genius. We butted heads a lot. That's why I ended up not being in the band more than once. But
Talk about that. Do you care to talk about that?
You know what? I understand it more now. The older I am, what actually happened, and I understand where I was coming from, and I understand where he was coming from. We did make amends and put the project back together in '89, and we went out and did a Canadian tour. And then we came home, and there was an American deal on the table, and the contract was an inch and a half thick, and I looked at it, and I hired a lawyer and went through, and I had less. Personally, I was less in control of my life with this new contract than I was when I was 21 when I signed the first one, and I was just like, I can't. It's not working for me, and there was just no getting around it. And him being, the star and the genius that he was, didn't see a measure of compromise. So
Right.
we didn't.
Well, it's cool that you had that kind of foresight. I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying to yourself, you know what, this isn't for me, and just having the strength personally to say, yeah, I'm good. That's tough. That's really tough. Yeah. Good for you.
Since I was 2.
There you go.
Since I was 2, I've realized I've had a sense of purpose, and
Right.
not that I've always been able to follow that, but I think it's really important, and for kids. And I'm so lucky. I've had 2 healthy boys myself, and they've grown up to be kind-hearted, hard-working men. and
awesome.
and I'm really proud of that. And I think that it's so important to know who you are and get a sense of that. And I had great parents. I'm really thankful. I've had a wonderful career, and the only thing that I would have regret at my age, had I not 5 years ago said, this isn't working for me, the compromises aren't there. So it's time to take the wheel, quit bitching from the back seat, and do what you need to do. So that's where I am today, doing what I need to do.
That's
nice.
That's great.
So
to be able to look back that clearly.
Oh yeah, and that ties into a couple of questions that we have here. And I mean, I'm sure we can all agree, not many people know many 2-year-olds that already know what they want to do with their life. So that's a great. But a couple of the questions were, and it's kind of a 2-in-1. What were your early influences, and what were you listening to growing up? Any favorites that stand out?
I lived in Vernon and Kamloops right until graduation, and we had AM radio. So Neil Diamond, Anne Murray. I didn't get into music until grade 10, perhaps. I joined the boys in the band. Heart had come out, so whatever year Dreamboat Annie came out, that was a huge influence on me. Yeah. Joined my first band in that time period, and one rehearsal they came in and threw the Pearl album at me and said, "You should listen to her." I had no idea who Janis Joplin was. Right. I threw it on and went, "That's what you see in my voice?" And they went, "Yeah." So I guess it was just an inherent growl that I had. It wasn't intentional. Then graduated, moved off to Alberta, and in the year and a half I was there, I ended up joining a 7-piece, I'm sorry for my ignorance, but black band from Harlem, New York. I don't know, I'm not sure what phrase to use anymore, being politically correct.
Cool, though, yeah.
And
what the hell were those guys doing in Edmonton?
I know, right? I don't know, but they were there. They had a manager there, and 2 vans, and we jumped in these 2 vans that were just down the street. And I did 2 months, maybe 2 months touring, doing Anita Ward, You Can Ring My Bell, and Donna Summers, Bad Girl, with disco steps. They were all wearing 1-piece metallic outfits with lightning bolts, and yes, that's when I ran into
basically what I wear now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever works for you, right?
Hey, that's so rad, though, because that kind of education, that's what I was talking about, those R&B roots, because I read about something about that not that long ago, and I thought, wow, the chances of you running across some New York guys that are just up at Edmonton, because of course they're probably there because there was a lot of work in Canada, as we know, at that time, especially on the prairies. They probably figured that out and went there and got to work. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, probably.
So Darby, it's great to hear everything from the past. Why don't you tell everybody listening what you're up to now? I understand there still may be. We have yet to have any cancellation, but Toque and Darby Mills projects were still moving forward, hopefully. And what's happening with that new project?
Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, we had 2, possibly 3 shows scheduled for this summer that aren't going to happen, which is really too bad. I was looking forward to that, but the new project, I remastered the Never Look Back album that came out when I went over and recorded at Eel Pie, and I know it's been out for I think 4 years now, or maybe more, re-released that is. And I listened to it about 10 years ago in my car on a long drive, and I went, the songs on here are still relevant lyrically. There's a song about Mother Nature and Earth, and there were just so many songs in there that didn't get an opportunity. I thought back in '91 when it came out to shine, and it was like this. It was part of me. We built a recording studio, recorded in that studio, did that record, so it was very near and dear to my heart. My husband, Brian Wadsworth, and the team of players that we had that came together to record that, I felt now's the time to give them a chance to pay homage to them again, because it was such a rat race back in '91. So remastered it, re-put it back out, put a band together around it, and it's doing great. We're doing shows with a band called Toque.
Yes, you are.
And we have to give a shout out here because Sandra is watching and also just commented here. Sandra is one of the coordinators for Harborfest in Kenora, and she just wants everybody to know that it's technically not canceled yet. So we still got our fingers crossed. So we'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good. August. So August shows are still looking good.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to think that I'm just retired now. Like I just said the other day, I think this is it. This is my life now. I just kind of hang out, put around the house, like I'm 75 years old now suddenly. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing.
Could you imagine?
No.
Could you imagine if it's done? I can't see life continuing on. Not that I'm in agreement with going out and disregarding the safeguards that are in place. They really are to keep us safe. And the sooner, I think, my personal opinion anyway, the sooner we observe those and give this virus and the doctors an opportunity to figure out what the hell is going on, the sooner we'll be back at it, right? Just my thoughts. But it's like,
I agree.
And in telling my sons, it's like your generation, my generation, we've never had to go to war. We've never got the letter in the mail saying you're drafted. And it's really not, in my opinion, too much to ask for his generation and mine just to stay at home. Man, you got TV, you got your phone, you got everything, really. Exactly. So just let's just be mankind for a little bit.
There
you know?
Go. Well said.
Our loyal listener and follower, Kaylin from Hamilton, says, Darby Mills Project rocks. I saw them in Hamilton with Killer Dwarves. Was an amazing show. Corey, you should have been there.
Totally. Killer, got your shirt on.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you say dwarves or dwarfs?
Darren wears this shirt because he's trying to get us to cover a Killer Dwarves song.
That's right.
Don't you think that would be a So Darby,
yeah, for sure,
if you were to pick one, what would it be?
Testing Killer Dwarfs knowledge. Yeah.
Killer Dwarfs knowledge. I don't know. I saw. When you're on tour, you don't always get an opportunity to go out and watch the other bands, right? Especially, I have an hour pre-show thing that I go through, and so if we are after a band, it's really hard for me to check the band out. And the way it ended up working out, the Dwarves were opening the show, and so I didn't get a chance to. I saw the same last 2 or 3 songs to their set every night. But what a bunch of crazy mofo's those guys are! It was. Gracious and kind and good natured, and it was really a fun group of dates to go out and work with those guys. Yeah.
Russ is probably one of the all-time greatest frontmen in rock, really. I mean, he's a complete animal. Hey, Darren, what's your choice of Killer Dwarf songs?
Well, I think we've been over this a number of times now, no?
That's its own podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
2 hours of Killer Dwarfs with Darren Steen.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to keep it short.
They only had one song, right?
Oh, come on. No,
they had.
You know, my choice would be Dirty Weapons. That would be.
Oh right,
I like Spirit Alive.
Spirit Alive.
But now that we've got people on watching, we'll see what comes up, and if anybody else wants to drop their suggestions, we'll highly consider it.
Yeah. Watching Darby talking about Killer Dwarfs. Yeah, it's quite a world we live in.
That's what's so great. I mean, like you said, the music world brings everybody full circle, and that's really what you know, especially given the time and the day and age we're living in. I mean, that's what better way to bring people together than to do stuff like this and to hear stories. And a lot of the people that are on here probably weren't even born and, you know, never got to experience all of the things that we were talking about and that you were sharing with us. So, no, I think that's a fantastic, you know, way to introduce younger generation via bands like Toque that are not only re-recording the stuff, but to get, you know, to listen in and hear the stories firsthand. So.
No, it's an absolute honor for us, Darby, honestly. It was an honor for us to be able to play with you. And then for you to be actually here with us now is like, if you would have told me this 20 years ago, get the hell out of here. First of all, I wouldn't have believed we could talk on a computer like this. So there's that. But but here we are. That's amazing. Thank you so much for doing this with us. It's the best.
Exactly.
All right. Awesome.
We have a video actually that months ago, when I can't remember, for whatever reason, it got put on the back burner, and we had compiled some video footage actually done by fans who had submitted it, and we're going to share that with everybody now, and we're going to actually let them hear the single. This is, do you want to introduce this, anybody?
Yeah, this is Don't It Make You Feel Like Dancing, Toque's version of a Headpins classic. And if you listen after the guitar solo, and incidentally, the guitar solo is me and my dad playing guitar minis. And after the guitar solo, the legendary Darby Mills comes in and does a cameo and sings along with Todd to the end of the song. So we're really happy that she did that. Thank you so much for that, Darby. That really made the song. Todd was struggling through the whole thing. He did a terrible job. And
Thank God.
And you know, I just want to say thanks to Mark Greenhaw, who took me in his studio and let me record on all his gear and stuff so that we could get that to you. So thanks, Mark.
That was awesome.
Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and without further ado, here's a video that none of us have even seen yet.
Exactly. and this is the best part about it, because this was all done by the fans, for the fans.
Wow.
All submitted material. So and we're not talking just Canada. This footage came in from all over the world, Japan, New Zealand, Australia, US. So it just goes to show you how, especially in today's day and age, this music is now heard all over the world. So all those places that you were saying that you never got a chance to go to, music's getting there anyway. So here we go, and here's the music.
Hey Google, play some Toque.
All right, here's Tupac Shakur on Spotify.
I won't deny it. I'm a straight Hey Google, rider. Play some Toque.
Playing Toque on Spotify.
I'm like, I have a.
And we're back.
I know. I have to shut my mic off while the video's going, or else I'll just be talking over it and everybody else. So,
I think we had a better conversation off camera than on. Now it's got a lot to live up
there
to.
you go.
Are we on? Are we
live?
And,
it looks still black.
We're back.
There's a little bit of a delay there, but.
Yay! There
hey,
we
Fitzy,
go.
did you see anybody you recognize in there?
I didn't watch it all, so I was trying to be, I'll watch it later.
I saw a lot of people we know.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was some really cool stuff.
Your dad was in there.
Darren, that looked really funny. So Darren is the one responsible for that video.
No, the fans are responsible
there,
for that.
Darren.
The fans are responsible for that. All I did was
Well, you put it together, but yeah, thank you to the fans for all that awesome content, Danko, man. You're
amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
We love your Power Hour shirt.
Exactly.
Danko's not on yet.
Hang on, I'm bringing him in right. I'm bringing him in right now.
Okay, bring him in.
Okay, where is he?
Comes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Canada's own rock and roll icon. He's a published author. He's an amazing human. We have spoken hours and hours and hours about Three's Company online. And Bachelor Party, Tom Hanks's best film, overlooked by the Academy, but nonetheless. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the mighty Danko Jones.
And we're going to make a dramatic pause here, but unfortunately, it looks like our feed, we can only bring in one more. So we're going to let Darby do her thing, give her shout out, and maybe, Darby, you want to introduce Danko, and we'll let him take your circle.
How do you like that?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Danko, welcome aboard. I'm having a blast so far, but just give me 1 second. I just wanted to do a shout out to Richard, and I don't know how to pronounce his name properly. I'm sorry, Richard, but Lanthier or Lanthier, he's a bass player for April Wine, and Larry Gowan. Have so graciously jumped on a track that I'm working on right now with Gary Borden in Toronto, and we're trying to get the vocals all finished in this distance thing, and I just wanted to thank them for jumping on and helping us out, and hopefully we'll come up with a decent song for you in the next whenever the world gets back to normal. But anyway, I'm going to hand it over. We're out of space. I get it. It's been such a pleasure, guys. Right on. Thank you so much. Yeah, take care.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully next year we get to do those shows.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed. Like we
Thank
said,
you, Darby.
We're not ruling anything out yet.
You bet. Sure. Take care, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Is there some way you can CGI Darby turning into Danko Jones? Because that would be awesome.
What we're going to do.
Now, I think she has to hang up or something, or do you hang up on
Okay,
her?
there we go. I'm trying. I'm trying. Okay, just a second. Here we
Glasses back on
go.
so you can see.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah.
I love it. The best.
Okay. Call. We go. No? Okay, I'm just turning off my phone. There you go.
That may or may not work. There should be a red button if you tap on the screen. A hang up button. You gotta put the phone back on. Oh.
This is all new technology for everybody. Just figuring out all these podcasts.
I think she's off now. Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
Does that work, Darren?
Looks like it, yeah.
Okay, cool. Is Danko there?
He's here.
I'm here.
Is he on with
All
us?
right.
There he is.
Woo!
Do you guys want to meet?
Chico,
You guys
rice
wanna-
flour, related to mochi. Do you want a little more context?
No.
What's that?
My Google Home started talking.
What an age we live in. Does anybody want to give Danko
Okay,
a hard
Google,
time about his
stop.
choice of hockey teams? Just
Corey.
kidding, babe.
Yeah, we have. We respect
all the way.
much respect to the Leafs, but
Hey, all
that's
the way, baby.
that's East Coast. You're dealing with Prairie Boys over here, so.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I'm wearing it. I knew I was doing
I know.
I had
It's such
Daryl
like-
Sittler skate, so he's okay in my books.
Absolutely. I thought that I was really hugely into the '90s, like Gilmore era of the Leafs. I thought that was a really cool era.
My favorite Leaf is Daryl Sittler. And my
course.
favorite goalie. My favorite goalie was
Jorge
Mike
Salming.
Palmetier.
Aurea Salming. Was Yvon Cornwallier? Was he a Leaf?
Oh, Canadians.
No.
Canadian, right? Yeah. Those are all those Hockey Night in Canada when you were a kid watching hockey with your dad.
Lanny McDonald was Leaf.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. How do you like that? And you know who else is honorary right now? Danko Jones. There you go.
And I'm
Yeah.
also a brand ambassador for Salming Sports. That's
No
Boyd
way.
Salming's
wow.
clothing line. Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. That's amazing.
I'm also
That's-
sporting a Toronto band, Hateful Snake.
I like that. We had
Great
a lot.
name.
Danko and I have a lot of conversations about some of the East Coast stuff because Toque is a Canadian band that has paid tribute to a lot of Canadian music. Danko and I had a long conversation on his podcast about this, and so some of the music you didn't know some of it, right? Like some like Orphan and bands like that from Winnipeg.
Right.
I think you might have.
Yeah. No, I didn't know them.
Which might also be generational because you might be a few years younger than us. I was born in 1979. I'm just kidding. No, I wasn't. I was born much earlier than that. But but some East Coast bands you had thrown at me, and I was like, oh yeah. I mean, obviously there's ones like Triumph that we kind of missed, stuff like that. But anything that comes off the top of your head that we should take a look at?
The first band that comes to mind, just because I finished his book recently, was Ted Templeman. and Honeymoon Suite. Who
Yeah.
Ted
Oh,
Stevens did,
right.
Yeah,
He produced them, right?
yeah, he did one album.
that's right. Yeah,
Right
we
after
do
the Bob
New-
Rock one.
That's right. We do New Girl now, so we do some Honeymoon Suite.
Right.
Yeah.
How about
yeah.
and Coney Hatch?
We don't do any
Oh,
Coney
yes.
Hatch.
We love
be
Coney
doing
Hatch.
Should.
Andy Curran, of
Yeah.
course, we all know as Andy works for the Rush company now, and he's such a great band.
Best.
Yeah.
He's the
Yeah.
best.
What about the band named after your city?
Toronto?
Did you guys do a Toronto cover?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do Toronto. Yeah, we do a Toronto song. Yeah, yeah. But there's a lot of songs by that.
Enough
band,
is
for
enough.
Sure. We do a song called "Enough Is Enough." Yeah. What album's that off of, Corey?
Head on.
Head on. Head on,
Yeah, I love that
collision, head on.
Head on. Head on.
But we've also done Daddy Don't Know in the set, even though we didn't record it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw video footage of you doing that, or maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, probably.
But we've done it quite a bit.
Yeah, that's cool though, because I think it's interesting because, where we grew up, did you grow up in the city in Toronto, or where did you grow up?
I grew up in Willowdale, which is a suburb,
Yeah.
home of Sebastian Bach, Geddy Lee, Alex
Well,
Lifeson, Alex Mitchell, and Garth Richardson. It is. That's where I'm from. That's where I'm from. That's where I'm from.
We're like
That's a
East
legacy
Coast,
right there.
It's like
It's impressive.
West Coast rappers battle or something like that.
Yeah. I was ready for this. I was already ready.
Yeah. I love it. That's so great. No, honestly, it's really really cool that you're here for this, because it's it's one thing that I wanted to bring up, because Brent Fitz and I have not talked about this. Brent Fitz, Danko Jones, Todd Kearns all have had detached retinas.
Oh, Danko, I didn't know you as well. Really?
Yes. And I thought Brent, it was his first time, but it wasn't. And so I was like, I think I tweeted you like, stay strong, brother, And it's like, I've been through this before.
Sadly, it's not a contest. And even after one, I'm like, I never wish it ever to happen to anybody else. And Todd, let's just back up a second. So when Todd had it back in, was that 2010, Todd?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I
Almost
felt so bad, because I was like, it's got to be the worst thing ever. And then it was 5 years later that I had a detached retina. Now, when was yours, Danko?
I had mine in 06.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. You beat all of us.
Yeah.
Remember, Brent, it's not a competition.
You must have been very young.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
not a competition.
I know.
If it's a competition, everybody loses. That's the problem. Yeah.
That's true. And I had it on the craziest thing is they always tell you to check your eyes, because the detached retina, as you guys know, is painless.
Yeah. No,
So I just had, as you guys know this, I had flashes, and I was kind of forced to go. Someone was telling me, you got to go.
Yeah.
And I didn't go home that night. So
right. That's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was,
Now, does headbanging have anything to do with it, or is it just genetics?
the best thing
That's the
about
first
Danko's
question.
story was it actually was self-induced. I think
It was self-induced, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so all the way up till 2006, we used to end the set with me punching and slapping my face. And since I'm right-handed,
Oh my God!
I started to smack myself, and I just didn't think that had the right visual effect. So I started punching myself. I actually gave myself a black eye a couple of times.
Oh my
and
God.
and I am 1,000% convinced that's what happened. And
Wow.
so
Because you're so young.
Yeah.
well, it's also a thing where you don't know the adrenaline when you're on stage, like how hard you're hitting yourself, or how hard things
And
are
you
going.
should be
You know,
thankful
like,
at this
when
point
you're-
that you're living in Canada, because God help you if you're down in the U.S. and the insurance company got a hold of that video.
Yeah.
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
See, up in Canada,
Yeah.
you can punch yourself in the face as much as you want. Nobody cares. That's just the way.
No, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's
yeah.
amazing.
As you guys know, I mean, it is torturous going through that. So,
How long were you down?
sorry?
How long were you down? Like, did you have to lay down and all that kind of stuff?
So yeah, I had to wait for surgery for about 3 days. I was on my, what is it, the right side, if it's my right eye. Yeah, I had to be on the right side so the liquid or something doesn't.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, we were on tour, which I should not have been, but
Oh, Yeah.
No, that's the thing.
Now, like, let me ask you this, because Brent and I have been down this road so many times. Did they put an air bubble in your eye? For people who are watching, there's a whole process to this. It's a reattachment of your retinal wall on the back of your eye, and then they would use this voodoo magic to put an air bubble in your eye. So wherever if it's on the back of your eye, you have to lie face down. So the bubble itself, the bubble will hold the back of your eye. That sounds like voodoo magic, but it is a true story. Or sometimes they use oil. Brent's had oil before. I only ever did bubbles. So
I don't have a bubble. No, I have a buckle.
Oh, buckle. Yeah.
Oh, you have this kind of like a buckle.
Yeah, I have a buckle in this eye. Yeah. Crazy, right?
I think the buckle is like definitive. It means it'll never detach, because if you don't, so you kind of have a band put around your eye. That sound right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's pretty nasty, for anyone that can't even fathom, like, people who can't even touch their eye, let alone have, somebody put holes in your eye and put a spherical buckle around. It's like crazy. But I think you guys are lucky to have that, because then you're guaranteed it's not going to detach again, because I've had when they fixed my, whichever eye it was, the left one first, they said, well, there's a good chance your other eye is going to detach. And that's where you laugh. You go, well, it's never going to happen to me. And I know, Todd, you were dealing with some little retina tears and stuff, and you've had some, several lasers and stuff. Pretty much we're, between Todd and I, and now you, Danko, we're pretty much bionic from all the eyes.
Well, I can see through. You can see through space and time now. It's amazing.
Yeah, like I got really, short-sighted in one eye and farsighted in the other. So it's like a fun house. If I'm really tired, it looks like the world is like a fun house. So
that's a drag, dude.
Well, the one thing that was unfortunate but fortunate is so up until the summer this year, 3/4 of Toque had been members of Slash Band, because when Corey came out and played with us during the summer, filling in for Frank, that was 3 members of Toque in the band. But when my eye finally said, I'm leaving the tour, and and went home, and I went home 2 weeks early, Shane was luckily the relief drummer for me and finished the tour. And so now officially Toque, because of my eye, we've all been a member of the Slash Band.
Yeah.
Well, talking to you guys leading up to this talk, I feel very intimidated musically. I feel like you guys are like filet mignon talking to some sort of like baseball hot dog. You guys are, I mean, it's definitely, just listening to the album, if we can go back to the Toque music, it's flawless. I really am impressed by your versions of these amazing songs. You really hit it out of the park.
Know, Danko, do you have a favorite track?
I love that Aldenova. I mean, the way the intro starts is like, it's like perfect. I love the Headpins
that's
song.
Great.
I think, Todd really hit it out of the park. I even joked with Todd going, like, when Darby comes in, I'm like, how did Todd do that?
Again, that's just years of screaming AC/DC songs in clubs, and then one day somebody goes, okay, now we're going to do the Darby Mills song. And it's kind of like, well, it's kind of like AC/DC on helium. So it's not, it has that, again, we're going to circle back to Russ, to the Killer Dwarfs here for a second, Darren. Is that cool with you? Cool. Russ had a really high voice too, like that kind of like solo. Or Geddy too. Geddy, those really kind of high voices. It's like I didn't really entertain a lot of that until it was asked of me. Like, okay, we're gonna do this Headpins song. You're like Headpins. Okay.
See, but it's funny that you say that, Todd, though, because I'm sure there's a lot of singers out there that would disagree with that, theory. Because after years and years and years of screaming in clubs, most people wouldn't be able to do that. Let alone you just went from here and you took it up a notch.
A lot of us weren't able to speak for 10 years after coming out of the club circuit. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I agree. But what was it like when? Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, because you mentioned the intro on Fantasy, but Corey blows us away all the time because, I'm going to give Corey all the credit. That whole intro, it was painstakingly done just by Corey, and I don't know how you do it, but it's unbelievable when I hear what you do.
Well, funny story about that
element, right, Corey? You should take us through.
What's that?
Because you built every element in that.
Yeah. Well, funny story about
It's
that.
almost. Can you? You should probably do a TED Talks on this right now. Go.
So, in the beginning, we just tracked the main song, right, of Fantasy, and I brought my wife in one and I said, check it out, you know, and she's like, yeah, and she goes, where's the intro? I said, well, that's kind of hard to, you know, to duplicate that. It's, you know, it's perfect. And
helicopters.
I don't know if I can do it.
lasers.
Yeah, helicopters, lasers. And she goes, well, you can't do this song without that intro. So it was because of Jody that intro's there. And so I was like, okay. I literally, you know, and it's all done with plugins and whatnot. And it was the hardest thing I did on that whole album was recreate the intro. And it was the thing, it was the sound. The helicopters weren't that bad. I mean, a lot of keyboard synth patches have sort of the basis of a helicopter sound. But it was that sound that goes.
Oh yeah.
It's like a sine wave or something, right?
What is
How do you
that?
get that?
It was the strangest thing, man. And I finally found it in an it's called Absinthe. You know that, Danko? It's a Native Instruments synth for Pro Tools or for whatever. And there was something that just sounded remotely like, I'm like, okay, let's see if I can deconstruct this sound and make it sound like the Aldenova patch. And that's what I did. And I couldn't tell you how I did it now. I'd have to open the session and go, oh yeah, that's what I did. But yeah, it takes a long time to do that. But I'm glad I did it because glad Jody was like, yeah, you got to do it because it ended up being real cool.
And it's our intro live a lot of times too.
Yeah, we walk on.
It's a good walk-on music, right? Or walk-on, yeah.
So, is there plans for a third album?
Yeah, we're slowly kind of. It's so far it's been mostly original stuff. We haven't been talking too much about cover stuff, but you never know what might happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I'm
really trying.
I think we talked about it, Todd.
Yeah.
About infusing more like East Coast or Southern Ontario bands.
There you go.
Yeah.
As
we definitely would do Coney Hatch.
It's Toque 3, the metal years. You know, everything from 87 to 91.
There you go.
Yeah.
Helix, Killer
Scarum,
Dwarfs,
Svengali.
Yeah, Killer Dwarfs.
Brighton Rock, Aram Scarum. Exactly, yeah.
Oh, but Santers, you didn't do a Santers song, have you?
No.
They're West Coast
Santers.
Right? No,
they're Toronto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about Triumph? Did we say Triumph?
Can't seem to get through to you. You love to change my mind.
There you go.
Try my best to forget you, but you're always on my mind. You do. Many times I wait.
Just record this.
Many times I do confess. Know that one? That's a good one.
I'm waiting for you to get to the chorus.
Yeah.
I can't shake you.
I can't shake you. I love it.
You're haunting me. I got it bad, baby. Can't you see?
There you go, right there. That's downloadable right there. That's 99 cents right there.
This is anybody watch Stronger Together on Sunday night? This is it right here.
I forgot. I didn't forget about Sanders. Rick Sanders has got a killer voice. That guy was. Whatever happened to Rick Sanders?
You know what? He sounds a lot like the guy from Coney Hatch.
Yeah,
he does. He has a similar kind of like a Burton Cummings, but like I don't know what you would call that. Like a real thick Carl Dixon kind of voice. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Well, we did bring up Helix. Maybe a Helix track too.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's a big catalog actually. They got a lot of songs.
Do you remember the song that they covered that went "Make me do anything you want"?
Yeah.
Originally, that was a song by I think a Canadian band called Foot in Cold Water.
Yeah.
Really?
Cold Water.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
And my family band used to play that song in the bars.
The original version?
Yeah, the original version. I used to sing it.
Funny, wow. What were you going to say?
The video was some dancer dance.
That's right. Like a ballet type thing.
It's like some ballet dancer.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Totally, yeah.
There's a lot of great hits. Video hits after school. Samantha Taylor.
Samantha Taylor.
Video hits.
Hi, I'm Samantha Taylor, and this is Video Hits.
Yeah, everything.
But Stu Jeffries was on there too. Let's not forget Stu Jeffries.
I had a family member who used to work on video hits, and she knew I liked heavy metal, so she would give me a lot of the promo copies. So that's how I got turned on to a lot of bands, because I couldn't buy it, but I would get a lot of the promo from video hits.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a nice in, right?
So same question that we ask a lot of people, and of course questions are coming in for you, Danko, too. Everybody's saying, seen you, a number of times. Awesome show.
Saw you punch yourself
in the face. You're obviously in the same boat as everybody now, staying home and doing your thing. But what are your plans once this lifts? You got anything on the go?
Well, we had tours booked, and they got rebooked. So hopefully, if we could still tour by the end of the year, we've got about a UK run, and then we have a Scandinavian run in January.
That's so bad.
But who knows? We're like everyone else, playing it by ear every day. Hopefully, but that's what we got in store, and of course working on a new record. Nice. So,
is that going to be with Garth again?
I don't know yet, but this whole COVID thing is I don't know.
It's impossible to make any proper plans. But your last album with Garth was rad. He did the last record with Garth Richardson, of course, son of Jack Richardson, right?
Yeah.
The legend that did all the Guess Who and a bunch of that stuff. And
who turned me on to Toque?
How do you like that? Garth, yeah, that's right. Garth was the one that was ahead of the curve on that. Dude, one time go ahead. Do your story, because I was going to...
we were listening to Toque in the studio. He was turning me on to it, and I was like, I think it was just the first album.
Oh, cool. Yeah. He's done a lot. He's worked on like Rage Against the Machine and a bunch of crazy stuff, but he kind of, found himself back in Canada, and he does amazing work, and he's such an amazing guy. One time we were at a club called Hogs and Heifers in the meatpacking district of New York City. And it was just rowdy Canadian nonsense, you know what I'm saying? And we were like, I had to tell these bouncers like 3 times, no, it's cool. They were going to kick us out like 100 times because there was like a lot of rowdy Canadian nonsense going. No, it's cool. I'm like, Canadian nonsense was too loud for a meatpacking biker bar, you know what I'm saying, in New York City. I was like, that's Garth Richardson for you. No, amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing guy. So are you writing at all? Are you still, because your book, which I've read and is amazing, is a collection of things that you've written in all kinds of magazines and stuff over the years, right? Over what kind of span of time did that cover?
It was a block of 10 years of writing.
Wow.
And then I wrote stuff after, but a lot of the magazines I wrote for have gone under, which is too sad. But a lot of those magazines in the book that I put out called I've Got Something to Say, that's the name of the book, but they're reprints of already published articles, most of it. So, a few of them have gone under.
Is a volume 2 a possibility at all, or is it sort of like, because you must have a whole ton of other stuff kind of kicking around, I'm assuming.
Yeah, there's, I do want to put out a second volume. I don't know if it'll be on Feral House. It was the best part of the whole thing was getting on Feral House, because
I know we talked about this. Yeah, what a killer place to have it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was such an honor to be on. It's like kind of getting signed to a cool record labal, if
like
you're
Sub Pop or something like that. Yeah. So give a little background. Give a little background on Feral House for everybody.
So Feral House is like a underground book imprint. They put out Lords of Chaos. Which is the most infamous book. They put out a lot of like, weird witchcraft and Anton LaVey books and, and all that stuff. So, I noticed that they were, liking some of my tweets online. And so I had this manuscript ready to self-publish, and I sent it into them. And Adam Parfrey, the owner of Feral House, reached out and wanted to put it out, and right on the eve of the book's release, Adam passed away, unfortunately.
That's right.
It was, it was too bad that happened.
Now, How much of a book would it take to put the entire KISS lecture that you just did? How many pages do you think that probably covers if you had to put it in word form?
Yeah, I did write it out. I think it was like a 20-page lecture.
How long was the actual lecture? Because I watched that thing online, but how long was that?
Yeah, that was edited down. So it's like, I think the actual lecture were, you know, with my theory, it was like 40, 45 minutes.
Oh, that's all. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's a documentary at the end that I also aired on a projection screen of my documentary on my KISS cover band called Chris.
That's right.
Where I only do Peter Criss covers.
Wow.
Yeah. Only the ballads.
When do I get to play in that band? I can't wait.
Do you want to be in it?
Do I get to sing That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Likes?
I just care, is Dirty Livin' in the set?
I love how serious you get. You're kind of like, oh, okay, what KISS songs are?
It's like Kiss the Girl Goodbye, I Can't Stop the Rain, just the ballads.
Oh, nice. So that's
yeah.
So it's a solo album. I see.
No,
okay.
no Dirty Livin'.
No Dirty Livin'.
That's too up tempo for Chris.
How many roses do you go through on an average night?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Oh, there's no roses. I just dress up in the. I have the actual robe that he wore at Phantom of the Park at the swimming pool, and then
like
I just use drumsticks to form.
Robe.
Oh no, replica from Halloween. Sorry.
Say you're hardcore.
But then I use.
I always say that people think that Beth is a love song, but it's actually not, because you're saying,
you know
honey,
what, Corey?
I can't come home because the band is more important than you.
You know what, Corey? Let me correct you on that. It's a love song, but you're in love with your music and you're in love with your band.
Right. That is true. That is true.
You write that down. Danko, turn that into 45 minutes. Go.
So the rose that he's holding then goes to the guys in the band rather than.
Exactly.
Just turn around.
Right. You're right.
But anyway, so the lecture that Danko that he did, and you did that. Where was that again? Somewhere rad.
At the Wacken Open Air in Germany.
That's right. You know, at a heavy metal festival in Germany, which is always off the charts. And so it was an entire lecture on this is again Danko's theory, don't kill the messenger, that Peter Criss actually died in 1978, and who knows what's been carrying on since then. So you have to kind of look that up on YouTube.
I gotta check all this out. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy. It is.
Shane, where's the picture of you wearing Peter Criss makeup?
Gallus in Peter Criss makeup. See, now you could join Chris.
76.
I think you eating a hot dog is
5.
That is perfect.
Well, see, he's going for the ballpark wiener, not the filet mignon. See.
Check out my outfit, though.
For me. He's eating the wiener. He's eating the hot dog. He's a filet mignon eating the hot dog.
Now did your mom make that outfit? Because that's the next level.
I had 2 outfits actually. That was the second one she made for me.
So was it actually like loosely based on
It was loosely based off, it was culmination of things.
You're like yelling at your mom. This isn't 78 specific Love Gun costume.
It was a thing. I remember it being a thing. It had to be like the Destroyer, the cover.
Right. Oh, right. 76. Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's so funny. Wow. How many hours? I always talk with my friends, and I goes, no matter what we talk about, it will always circle back to KISS somehow or another. Always circle back talking about it. But yeah, definitely check out Danko's lecture online. It's one of the best things I've seen in a long time.
Well, the night before I did the lecture,
just to give you the plug, where can they find that, Danko?
On YouTube, we uploaded it for free during the quarantine, the self-isolation. It was a bonus feature on a live DVD from Wacken, but we uploaded the lecture. It's on YouTube. Do a search, Danko Jones KISS lecture, and you'll find it there now.
Yeah.
So we're like in the middle of the set, or you just went out solo and did this?
No, it's another day. Isn't it? It's like in the daytime or something, in a tent or something, wasn't it? Like somewhere on site?
Yeah, I was there. They flew me over just to do the lecture. So I lectured for two days, and so we kind of cut it, and then I did the first 2 days of the festival, and Henry Rollins did the second 2 days.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, but doing the lecture, you're looking out into the crowd, and in my mind's eye, leading up to the lecture, I was thinking, oh man, this is going to be great. There's going to be Kiss fans. They're gonna dig it. And you look out and you're like, oh, these are 16-year-old kids who just want to watch, Arch Enemy play. They don't care about this old band called Kiss, that their uncle listens to. And it was just kind of like, oh, all right.
You know what? That somehow makes it even more awesome to me. Like, it's almost it's so surreal to me that you actually first of all, you the whole thing. And then you actually flew a long flight, probably to Frankfurt, then caught so it's like the whole process is happening. You get there and then you sat there and told this whole thing. I'm like, only Danko can pull this off. Henry Rollins isn't going to waste 2 hours talking about that.
I know you guys are big over there as a band, though, Danko. I mean, every time I'm over there, we always talk about Canadian bands. You have a pretty big audience, and Todd and I have all been over there touring many times. But it's pretty cool as Canadians. We're very proud that another brother has a chance to go over there, because we haven't played. Todd and I actually, that's of all the festivals you've done
right.
Wacken. Actually, you've done not only Wacken, but you did a whole different way of doing Wacken, not even doing a concert. So that was awesome.
That's pretty
cool.
Oh,
well, thanks, guys. I mean, I know that we played with Slash years ago at the Pink Pop Festival in Holland.
That's right.
And I know
that was our first tour with Slash over there. That was 2010.
I was too nervous to go to your because I knew Todd was in. I saw Todd walking around. And I was just too nervous to go up to you and say, hey, what's up? I'm from Canada, too.
I've been happy with that. That's so funny how
you do that all the time. What do you mean? You should have.
Yeah.
I know. I was too nervous back then, so I just kept to myself. But the Pink Pop Festival, we did play together once.
Yeah, those festivals are often really not the best place to connect with people because it's so chaotic back there, as you know. Yeah. It's almost impossible. And we're usually shuttled in, you play, and then you're shuttled out. It's just madness. But yeah,
I do know, Todd, on that same not Pink Pop, but maybe one of the other festivals. You and I took a photo with the Anvil guys, so we clearly must have went up to Anvil and was like, hey guys, we're Canadian too. Let's do a picture.
Absolutely. That's my in for everything. It's kind of like, I'm sure I don't know Donald Sutherland, but if I saw him in the street, boom, I'm Canadian.
Yeah. We had during the summer this past year with Corey in the band, Shania Twain came to the show at Montreux, and Corey, right. You tell the story, but on Canada Day, Shania Twain and the Canadians in Toque, we all got to hang out. That was pretty awesome.
Wow, that's a wicked Canadian hang, man. That's a Canadian Canada Day,
right?
We even did a social media Instagram video of us on the banks of Lake Geneva saying Happy Canada Day.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Last summer, we played Sweden Rock with it was us and then it was Styx, and so I was like, look, I'm gonna meet Larry Gowan. I don't care. And so it was pouring rain, and their shuttle came to the site, and he was just sitting there, and you could tell he was everybody was down, it's pouring rain, but I just went straight into the van. I'm like, hey, Larry, I'm from Scarborough, man. Yeah. And he really brightened up, and then he made his way back to our area, and he introduced himself to all of us there, and he was really, really nice, and it was great to meet him that way,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We did the same thing. We did exactly the same thing to Larry anytime we see him. It's like, hey, dude, we're and then he's just like, oh, wow,
Toque played with them last year. We actually did a couple shows playing with Styx. And, but what's great is they actually do some Gowan solo stuff as Styx, only in Canada. So they do, I think, A Criminal Mind and
Canada.
Because Styx was my first concert.
Wow.
That's right.
First concert ever, yeah.
Mr. Roboto?
That would have been pre
it was Paradise Theater.
Right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Paradise Theater.
Right.
Tonight's the night we'll make history.
That's so funny. Yeah, it's the Canadian connection is so amusing because it's all over the planet. I was just telling a story the other day. Who was like, oh, we were talking to Eddie Trunk, and we were talking about how every time you go to Canada, Rush is the first thing people say. Oh, Rush, or when you go to like, America. We were playing at CBGB's in 92, 93, 94, I don't know, somewhere in there. And this girl comes up, oh, you're from Canada, and she pulls up her leg, pant leg, and has a skinny puppy tattoo on the back of her leg. And I go, oh wow, I did not see that one coming. But you're like, it's always funny how there's some sort of Canadian reference somewhere along the way. And I don't know what you guys. I am the king of the every time something's going on, it's kind of like. And then I watched this movie. It was that guy and this guy, Jim Carrey, Canadian. And then I always interject that. And my friends are always like, yeah, I know he's Canadian. He's Jim Carrey. I've never even seen Ryan Gosling. Yeah, I know. He's Canadian. Shut up.
Did you guys see Waco yet?
Waco? No. Who's in that?
So the guy who plays David Koresh is from Kelowna.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, wow.
I was like Googling it last night because I'm almost at the end.
Wow.
And I'm like, who is this actor? He's so good. And I Googled it. And it was like, this guy's from Kelowna. It was like a trip.
Yeah. I've been watching this. I've been watching this show called Ride. It's Norman Reedus from Walking Dead, and they just ride motorcycles around with different people. And the other day there was.
So is that just the B-roll footage from him in The Walking Dead?
Yeah, exactly. AMC found a way to market that now. Just kind of like, put that. But he just rides around. And then the other day he was riding around with some Canadian girl from Saskatchewan, originally from Saskatchewan, had a whole career, a writer. Becky Gables is her name. Super cool. It was really cool. It's funny. It's just everywhere, and I appreciate that. But you still live. Do you live in the city now, or I don't want to give? What's your address? What's your social security number? Just kidding.
No, it's social insurance number in Canada.
I'm sorry, it's Canada.
Yeah, in the city, and just looking out my window, I feel like one of those old ladies, on the stoop. If anyone's not social distancing, I'm like, hey,
shaking your fist.
Get back. Yeah, exactly.
But
so you never really had to kind of like us. We all moved far, far away. The fact that you get to kind of live like 40 minutes from where you grew up or something, or
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I grew up in Willowdale, like I was saying before, and then moved to Scarborough, and from where I am, it's like 30, 45 minutes away. So
awesome. Yeah.
But Toronto is it's overcrowded more so than when I first moved downtown, so it's kind of crazy now.
Hey, do you know Rich Jones from Michael Monroe's band?
I do know Rich Jones, yeah.
He's the best. I was going to say, if you guys don't know each other, it would be a real crime, because he's one of my close friend from years and years and years ago. So
he lives in Hamilton.
He's in Hamilton.
Yeah.
He's his address is. Hang on a second.
Hey, wait a minute. So Hamilton seems like a lot of bands or people are moving out of the city out to the Hammer.
Now. Yeah, it's Brooklyn. Everybody's going out there,
Yeah, I know monster trucks out there, Trues and what else? And and Todd, your wife actually grew up there, right?
Yeah, my in-laws are in Hamilton, so we're out there a lot. I love Ontario. It's amazing. Yeah, I always think, because Age of Electric grew up in Saskatchewan, and we decided when we were going to start doing stuff, we started working with Bob Rock, the producer. I'm dropping names. Watch your feet. So we decided to go to Vancouver to kind of start being a real band. You know what I mean? But I often think it would have been a totally different path to decide to go to Toronto, because of course around that time you're dealing with the record industry and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't realize at the time until much later on how much more the industry was in Toronto, and all the gigs in Southern Ontario. It blows my mind that you could play a million places in Southern Ontario. I would look at our tour dates on the way to Ontario. There would be as many gigs to get to Ontario as there was in Southern Ontario. It was mind blowing.
Yeah, it's true. But I think you made the right choice, because I mean, being out here in Toronto, we always heard about, the top-notch producers and studios were out in Vancouver.
Well,
so.
yeah, was a lot of that. The recording scene was. I mean, and when we went out there, it was all like AC/DC and Aerosmith and all those bands were recording in Vancouver, and it was a big scene at the time for sure. But yeah, I guess it's always interesting because having relocated like we have, because we all grew up in the prairies, so it'd have been. Hey, is that Daisy? Which dog is that?
Buttercup.
Buttercup. Oh, that's the new. Oh yeah.
Just came over to say hi.
He's always got
I got a cavalcade of pets, so I got 4 dogs they're just like, hey, I want to jump on camera, so say hi.
Buttercup, best name ever. So, but yeah, so when are you? I guess you don't know, but you'd like to start. Is the record written? Have you written pretty much the material, or?
Well, right before lockdown, we were actually in a groove. We were ripping out song after song, and then we couldn't be near each other, but we were on a roll. And
is that how you guys write? You guys write in a room together, kind of like jamming, or?
Yeah. I'll it'll start with, I'll usually, because I play guitar, I'll bring in a guitar riff, and then if the guys like it, then we proceed. If they don't, then we move on to another riff.
How long have the 3 of you been together now? The 3 guys all together?
Well, I've been with JC, the bass player in the band, since the beginning. It's been the 2 of us. And Rich Knox has been in the band for 7 years. So.
Wow. Okay. So when was the beginning? When did it start?
96.
Damn, that's a long time, man.
Yeah.
You're pretty much going to be up for like that kind of like Hall of Fame type stuff. When you reach that 20-year mark, that's no joke.
Yeah, too many bridges have been burned. That ain't never going to happen.
Too many eyes have been punched.
Yes, absolutely. I've burned so many bridges.
So it's funny. You mentioned that you play under the name Danko Jones. Most people would just interpret that as a solo act, but yet you're saying that the writing process is a collective, a process.
It's a band.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When we started in '96, like we were part of the garage punk scene, and every garage punk band was, the Dirt Bombs, the Makers, the Oblivions. So we,
the Danko Jones.
Yeah, I asked the guys to join me.
Right.
Because I was in a band called the Violent Brothers. So
great name.
To do that, but behind the scenes, and everything's split evenly, and everybody has equal say, and there's always three cooks in the kitchen.
That's awesome. That's a great way to do it. I mean, that's how you keep a band together for 7+ whatever it is since '96. How many years is that? 96. That's don't say
24 years.
20 years.
Man,
I've been in 10 bands since '96. Danko, you've been in the same band.
Danko, I saw you in a number of shows. I was living in Toronto in the late '90s, and we see you at the club all the time, and good memories. It was still kind of when that music scene was just hanging on, and there was still live music to go out and see, and it was definitely a dying era after that. But in the late '90s, it was still good downtown Toronto.
You would have known him by his Killer Dwarf shirt. He never takes that shirt off.
Yeah, exactly.
I would do going back to your first conversation with Darby. It would be keep that spirit alive. I mean,
yeah,
you got it to survive.
That was my song. I voted too, and it had a great video.
Yeah,
that was the one in the box, right?
Yeah.
Ah, that's right.
What's the video where they're making the record? Remember they make a record. Stand tall. Saran wrap the whole thing. That's amazing.
Yep.
Love it. That's the one thing I appreciate. Another thing I appreciate about Danko is it's like your vast knowledge, not just of punk rock, but heavy metal and thrash metal too is actually your jam, really. I mean,
I was a thrasher when I was growing up, and then got into punk. And once I got into punk, and I just kind of got into every kind of music. I don't care anymore.
I was gonna say we've had long conversations about lots of pop music that we grew up on too. So it's not like, and being Canadian, this is an interesting thing because it always circles back to being Canadian. Growing up on so much Canadian music that even when I was in Hamilton not that long ago visiting family, I was like, there's a Harlequin song on the radio, and I go, oh wow, they're playing Harlequin. I didn't, because we think of that as prairie music, but you forget how far-reaching a lot of that stuff actually is.
Oh yeah.
And back then, those acts were arena acts in the 70s and early 80s, I suppose. And it's funny how universal it is all the way across, and then yet, no matter what, there's always going to be music that's sort of more, you guys have your thing, and the prairies was another thing, and then the West Coast is a whole other animal. So, and then not even talking about far east like Nova Scotia. That's why there's a whole other scene that was happening out there that we aren't even really familiar with.
Dance, Desire, dance.
Yeah.
We were just talking about them a while ago too.
Don't get Corey started.
Oh yeah.
Turn me away, but I'll never be standing in line.
Haywire.
Yeah.
Todd,
Haywire.
that is the song that I remember you singing in the infants when I saw you guys play when I was like 13 years old.
That's
That's
Haywire.
one of the songs you sang.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Haywire. I opened for Haywire with James Shane. James and I played in the band together. This friend of ours, James, this is older guy who was like kind of our Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we opened up for Haywire at this. I think it was kind of like a hockey arena, but it was probably more like a town hall kind of vibe. You know what I mean? But it was and it was a big deal. Like, wow, we're opening for Haywire. Because we used to play those songs as cover songs in bands and stuff like that. That's how big the
Give us a
Canadian
bit of
music scene was. It's
Bad Boys, Todd.
Oh, yeah.
And the only part I remember that is the chorus. Bad boys. That's all I remember. But I probably played that one too. But around that time, Honeymoon Suite, Platinum Blonde, Glass Tiger, Haywire, all those bands in that 80s period were like red hot in Canada. Like as far as we knew, that was what was going on. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it was like there's Motley Crue and then there's Honeymoon Suite, and it's like
totally. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah, I always say that. It's like you're going through the record collection, and it's like, okay, Styx, Van Halen, and then like Coney Hatch. It's like it's all the same thing to us. Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny.
We should get Derry Green on one of our shows here too, eh?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, having Darby Mills on, I mean, every time I hear the name Headpins, I'm reminded, and when I hear the Headpin songs, it takes me back to when I was a kid learning how to ice skate and having them play Toronto and Headpins on the PA in all the arenas.
Absolutely. Fitz was talking about that with roller skating as well. They used to play the same stuff. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. The same thing. Same thing.
Yeah. Like free skate. Free skate, just kind of tunes playing.
Free skate Darby on the ass. Yeah. Sorry.
Darby was talking about how Brian recorded "Don't It Make You Feel Like Dancing," and he said he whispered it as well, right?
The vocal part.
Don't it make you feel? Yeah. And I remember people thought that Mutt Lange was doing that with the Def Leppard stuff, and I wonder if that's where he got that idea from.
Oh, wow.
I was thinking the same. When you bring that up, because I wondered the exact same thing as she was bringing that up. I go, I wonder if that's like some sort of Mutt Lange reference or what. This is music nerd talk now. Look out.
Well, I mean, that just reminds me about how Heart covered Toronto.
Yeah, totally.
Not enough people know about that. You better clarify that.
Howard Leese, we were
one day drop that.
Yeah, exactly. Boom, there it is. I know Howard Leese here in town, so I'm like, one day somebody brought up that song, and he goes, "That's a Canadian band, a band called Toronto." He said it like plain as day, like as if it was like, and he looked at me and I go, "It is, what's the song with it? What about love? Do you want someone to care about you?" Was originally as the band Toronto, which were kind of almost like a Canadian version of Heart, oddly enough. Girl guitar player and a girl singer who was really strong. And they wrote this song, and it went on to be a massive hit for Heart. So
you can find the Toronto version of it, and it's almost verbatim the same song.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Nevison, I think, produced that record. Ron Nevison.
He did.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Of the Heart album, that was a massive.
Oh, the Heart.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the Toronto one.
Nah, I'm not sure who produced that. Yeah. Take your pick of Canadian producers. Who do you think produced that album? To chase that one down a rabbit hole, I don't know. Probably East Coast. I don't know. Any more
No, I
questions
think
for
we're
anybody
coming
here?
up on our 2 hours, but I just wanted to thank you, Danko, for stopping by and joining us. As always, we've
thank
got
you so
parting
much
gifts
for
for
that.
you. We'll be sending
look
you out
at
a
this.
proper toque, so you can go back to washing your floors with that one you got on there. And that's just a Leafs jab because I can.
That's just anything that's not the Winnipeg Jets he's going to say that about, so don't worry about it.
That's great. So yeah, no, on behalf of everybody, anybody else have anything, final closing words?
Not really. Just thanks so much for being here, Danko. Thank you so much to Darby. That was really, how cool was that, Danko, getting to hang with Darby? Even briefly.
That made my week. I mean, my COVID week is made.
Yeah, exactly.
And also,
go ahead.
Meeting you guys too here, it was a thrill as well. I'm a big fan of all the bands that you guys are a part of, and it's awesome. And I'm a big Toque fan too.
Oh, well, thanks, buddy. And we love you too. I mean,
it's mutual. My wife is a big Danko Jones. She's just sitting over there, and she will not go on camera, but she loves you. So just want to say that.
There you go.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Well, we'll hang tight. We'll just close off here, and you guys can chat a bit more on Skype, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Bye, everybody.
No idea where
Bye, everybody.
Good to see
Thanks
you.
for coming.
Thanks.